Hey everybody, and welcome to Zine Questing. My name is Tony Vasinda, and I am the Chief Alchemist over at Plus One Exp. We are going to be spending the month of February, which is Zinequest, going through some of the different projects that drop each day. Every day that I do this, I want to be able to get to about 8 to 12 projects, which means that we will still not cover all of the projects that launch during Zinequest. I'm going to look at a couple different campaigns every single time we do this. It'll be between 10 to 20 minutes. I'd love for it to be 10 minutes or less, but I don't think that's what's going to happen. If you have a game you'd like us to feature, maybe you went live today, maybe you went live in the future, maybe you just have a game you're curious about, we're going to look at their pages. We'll decide whether we are going to back them or not. And we're going to kind of just talk about what we love about them, ask some questions, and talk about the different projects that we're seeing. Right now, I've got the Zinequest kind of main digest page up. I just moved here from going to Kickstarter.com/Zine-Quest and then hit the More Projects button. So these are the projects that have most recently launched. Almost all of these are today, but it lets me avoid the different projects from the past. And we'll kind of go through some of these. I've already pulled a few up, but if we still have time left, I'll pick some more from this list to go through. So with that said, I'm going to dive in. The three things that I'm looking for when I'm looking at a page is really first and foremost, do I like this, right? So that's going to inform a lot of whether I back something or not. But what I'm going to be looking for is there something at the top that gives me a sense of the flavor of this game and why this game is unique? That could be a great image. It could be specific text that narrates a certain element of the game. Anything like that, anything that grabs me from the get-go. Some Zinequest projects have videos, some don't. The second thing I'm going to look at personally is what is the actual pitch for the project? Is it a 28-page zine? Is it a 44-page tarot world-building game? And any number of things, but do I actually concretely know what I'm getting into? And then I'm going to look at some other variables. Is the stretch goal? Is the page well put together, and is the project well laid out? Sometimes I'll back something just because I like the theme, even if none of those things are in place, and because it looks like a fun game, or because I want to support the creator. There's a couple different ways that I back at a higher level, at a digital level, because I like it, but I don't know how often it'll make the table, but I want to access it, the information in it. And then dollar backing. We're championing a thing during Zinequest called $28, 28 days, and that's backing one project a day for $1 a back. And then sometimes I'll just save a project because I want to come back to it later, but I'm not sure if I want to back it right now. Me not backing a project is not a sign that it's not a good project. It's just not a sign that I right now on stream am interested in backing it. A lot of the time I'm going to save those for later. But let's dive in. I've curated a couple. If you are out there watching live, and you want to let us know a project that you are excited about, wherever you're watching this, on Facebook, on YouTube, on Twitch, you can just type into the chat one of the projects, and I'll be able to link straight to it and drop it into stream. So if you have a project you're excited about that you don't see us covering, I'll let you know when I'm getting to the last few, and you can drop it in and we'll cover it, or go ahead and do that whenever you're doing it. I know we've got 6 people watching live right now, so drop a link down if you have a project you want us to support, and I'll try to take a look at it today or sometime soon. So with that said, let's dive into it. The first one I just found out about. It's got a $400 goal. It's at $112 out of that goal. I just discovered this on Twitter a little bit before we went live, and it just looks like a really cool game. I'm going to pronounce that is Cubliet, right? So like an oublet, but Cublet or Cubliet, depending on how you do it. It's something very interesting. A creator just let me know that they got a 24-hour ban from Facebook today. I'll be interested to hear about that later. Sorry for my giggle there. So this game I just found out about, it's female designed, which actually is a big deal for me. Like, if I love all of my fellow cis het white dudes out there, and I love all their games. I also loved finding games by people who are different types of designers than I am. So if you are a designer of color, if you are a woman or a marginalized gender, please let me know about your project, because I would love to feature it especially. So this is a GM optional, which I love, 3 to 4 player game that uses different decks, it looks like, to identify some things. It looks like it's genre agnostic, so you're going to pick the genre that you want to play in, but one of you is going to be the wastrel, one of you is going to be the steadfast, one of you is going to be the omen, and one of you is going to be the martyr. I love card-based mechanics. I love that we're starting to see that flex out a whole lot more. This is going to be a 5 to 7 page zine, soft cover, touch laminated, grayscale cover. I am actually super excited about this project. This it's short. There's not a lot of information, but it tells me what I need to know. The images are a little bit nondescript, but this is a good example of a really small basic project that communicates all of the essential information. And I do love this art. Like this is what sells me on this game in a lot of ways. This opening image is solid. It's good design. I like this kind of background pieces. And then these pieces right here and this piece of flavor is really what's going to sell me on this game. So I'm actually going to kind of scroll down through here, look at the different levels. I think I am actually going to go digital on this one. And we'll do that. I'm going to come back to that in just a second and do the rest of my card information, but we'll come back and we'll finish backing that in just a little bit. Skullbox, I've been super excited about it. So this one comes from Shardstone Studios. So check out this image. I'm gonna try to play this. I don't know how it's gonna come through. It may come through way too loud. It may not come through at all. But let me try to play this. One scene particularly I want y'all to be able to see on this video. I looked at it earlier. This one. I feel like I was just hypnotized by that. I think he's subliminally implanting the desire for me to back this game right now on that thing. But I don't know if you guys could hear that or not. If you're watching out there, let me know if you could hear that, because if so, I'll preview some of the videos. But that video alone is worth watching. A lot of Zinequest projects don't do videos. I think if you can do a video and you can do it well, or even minimally, it's really good to do. Yeah, Adam's out there watching the Skullbox video. Like that scroll, the whole thing is good. The scroll in right there is phenomenal. Like it is super good. Adam, you should stick around. You might see a familiar game in just a little bit. But this game looks great. Somebody has he hits the flavor in the video, right? A lot of his images are really evocative. It gives me a real sense of the style of the game. I know combat is going to be a huge focus. It's 40-page zine. It's rules light. I know that it's about somebody having stolen the apple, the golden apple of Eris, I think, in this game, and fighting the establishment as this skull creature in a box, right? But check out some of these images. This is a little bit longer of a scroll, but every single time I'm going down, they're giving me something new to look at that's exciting. Sorry, it was very loud, Billy. I'll try to make it a little bit less loud next time. Let me go ahead and slide my desktop audio down a little bit so it's not quite insane. That was a loud video either way there. But look at so look at what he's done here by laying this out, like all the different pieces he's given us visually. This is a great thing. Now, obviously, art was a huge part of this game. This is who you're kind of playing as, and then he's hitting the pledge levels. This is a really solid campaign. It's not the first project Shardstone Studios has done. This is going to be a physical back for us. Let's see what the big box is, 5, and then Skull Saint 125. I don't know that I'm ready to go up to 125 on it, but we're gonna go at this level, and I'll come back and finish that out later. So Love, Labor, Liabilities. This is Egg Embry's game from who's in the RPG Zines group where we're streaming this to right now. They just recommended it to me. I've looked at it a lot. Here's my only holdup on this, and then I'm going to gush on it some, is I typically don't back things that have this the 5e this is 5th edition fantasy. So I'm trying to figure out it's 5e compatible, which isn't a turnoff for me, but I need to know when I'm backing a 5e compatible project, what other things are in it that anyone will enjoy, even if they're not playing Dungeons and Dragons. And I know that it's easy to port Dungeons and Dragons out to a lot of other systems, but it is always a question for me. Like, am I just getting 5e stuff? Because I don't play 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons. I play retro clones. I play indie games. I do play Dungeons and Dragons every once in a while, and I do buy Dungeons and Dragons supplements for my child who runs Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition. But here's why I preface all that. Egg has put a lot of other stuff in this. So we've got great image at the top, but I also know that it's 56 pages, black and white, right? And then it's a lot of it's focused on love, and it's the follow-up. It's the second in a series, I believe, from this is Love, Labor, Liabilities. I know there was a previous one. The name is escaping me right now. We may find it as we're going down. But it's going to be delivered as a PDF on Valentine's Day 2020. Great thematic tie-in by Egg. I love that. But we've got smells, magic items, monsters, and adventures. One of the things I feel like I saw was that there's going to be some poetry and other items included in here, which from a world building standpoint is something you can take and drop into any system. Like, yeah, so poem by Leyland Beauchamp that looks really good. Some short stories in here, some other stuff that you might bring to the table and be able to do it. I think this is a great project. I would encourage people to back it. I'm just going to hit save on it for right now. I may already have it saved. Nope, I don't. So I'm going to hit remind me. I do want to come back to this because I do think this looks like a really good project. It's really going to depend on my budget because I'm not somebody who backs a lot of 5th edition supplements, which isn't a ding. 5th edition supplements are absolutely essential. Things like this help stretch people out of kind of traditional 5th edition ways of doing things and push people into better things. Everybody who's playing Dungeons & Dragons or any RPG is typically hacking the system as they go. And so I am super excited to do it. If you're out there watching right now, we're just reviewing some Kickstarter projects, just different ones that came up today. I'm going to try to get through 8 to 12. If you have a system you want me to take a look at, somebody who launched today on Kickstarter as part of Zinequest, drop it in the chat wherever you're watching. I'll see it. I'd love to take a look at it. I've got about 7 lined up for the chat today, and I'll just pick a couple other ones from the most recent if we make it through all these in the time limit. So, which we're already cruising past. So I'm going to go a little faster. Gordonak by Jeremy. Jeremy is a phenomenal creator. We got to play this live on stream with him. This is if you could call Mothership, which is a sci-fi RPG, vanilla with maybe fear sprinkles on top. Mothership is gasoline flavored with sand and some pills you don't quite recognize on top. Like it is 44 pages of warfare set on a dying planet. He's got some original races that he's put together. He's got original classes he's put together, but it's all using the Mothership design process. The cool thing is you could really take the back reference page out of Mothership that tells you how to make the rolls and then use that and Gordonak to play an entire game in itself. It's pretty much a self-contained system. We have a review video coming out on it later on today, I believe. It may be tomorrow morning, but I'll let you guys know one way or the other. We'll drop that on our YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/plus1exp. But look at this art. Like, look how gorgeous this is. These are some really kind of crazy things. The drain is, I don't have it up yet, but we are going to look at the drain. The drain is on my top 10 list for Josh. And so I'm super excited about that. I do want to look at that today because I love the video for that. I can't do this in 20 minutes. I'm a bad person. So I'm not a bad person. I'm just very excited about these. Anyways, guys, Jeremy has been working on this project for a number of years. It's a fully fleshed out world. I would really encourage you to do it. We're going to come in at the physical level on this one for sure. We'll come back and finish that backing process later. Planar Compass. So again, I want to point out Planar Compass has a diverse design team that puts it together. I backed the first one. I wish I had backed the first one at the physical level. If you are playing in old school essentials and are looking for some amazing content for OSC and other fantasy settings, you absolutely need to check out Planar Compass. This project, I haven't looked at their second one yet. It's geared at old school essentials. It's a guide to a multiverse. You can also use basic fantasy, Labyrinth Lord, Swords and Wizardry, which I just got to play for the first time. And Necrotic Gnome provides an adaptation guides that helps you transfer between those systems. So issue 2 has monsters. It's got astral navigation. It's got a living dungeon in it. It's got astral ships. It's got pirates and scoundrels of all types. So they're taking what they did with the first one by creating this kind of astral world and doing some really cool stuff with psionics. I feel like was a big part of that. And they're expanding that out. I'm very excited to check out this game in a little bit more detail. I'm going to fulfill through Drive through RPG and through Spear Witch. Again, this art. And again, you'll notice like great campaigns constantly give you something new to look at as you're going through, and they're hitting that. Stretch goals. What was their funding goal on this? They are at already over funding goal. They're 10x funded. I'm going to hit remind me on this. I'm going to come back to it because I am going to back this. I want to look at a little bit more detail at some of the different pledge levels, and I don't want to necessarily do that on stream, but we are going to back that. Okay, here's one I'm super excited about. Just found out about this today. Wasn't even sure if it was part of Zinequest. It's called Nerves. We're actually going to have Bats, the person who's this project, on next week on Wednesday at our normal time. We'd be doing this, so at 3 p.m. To talk about this project specifically, because I think it looks phenomenal. I think this looks like a really cool thing. This is not a game. This is a magazine about games. It's very minimalist design, right? Which I love. Bats does a lot of great stuff in kind of this same field. Very simple color palettes, very, very minimalist design a lot of the time. Very, very cool concepts. I just bought 4 games from Bats online store last week. But this is going to be a game that talks about game design, but not necessarily mechanics or guides, but kind of the theory behind them, analyzing them as if they were literature or film or other forms of art, which they are. So I think this is a great thing to help elevate this to another level. That's it. It's going to be ideally, I think, a quarterly project that comes out. I would really encourage people to back this. They've got probably the highest goal I've seen so far out of Zinequest. It's going to be $8,500 to hit. There are some really great things coming out of this. You can buy multiple. Here's one of the things we don't see on a lot of projects, and I don't think we'll see, but it's 50. It's these ads. You can buy ad space in this. So if you have a project coming out later on this year that's a TTRPG, if you provide a service to other creators, whether that's layout, design, if you run a YouTube or a review channel like we do, like we're going to get an ad because I want to support this project. I also want to get it. Like I would subscribe to this. I'm very excited about seeing it. We'll probably be buying ads on it for the future for our channel. So we're going to go in at this level. And if you buy Zine, you can put an ad on. I've already talked to Bats about that. Or if you buy an ad, you can add the zines on, because they're using backer kits. So John Battle Bats is the primary on this. It's a great team. Again, if you are somebody who wants to see the conversations about games get elevated up even higher, you should definitely check this out. Like, I think this is going to do a lot for the indie game space. I feel like the OSR game space has a couple pieces like this. But if you're somebody who's into the indie storytelling side of things, Nerves is actually absolutely a project I want you to go back. This is a little bit more of a complicated back for me. I'm going to hit remind, not because I don't already know I want to back it, but because I want to go figure out the ad thing, and I've got to do some add-ons and other stuff like that. So with that said, Grasping Nettles is a game that we played live on stream. Adam Bell, who was watching earlier, hope he's still out there, but if he's not, I totally understand, it's a world-building game. One of the coolest things about this world-building game, and you'll hear about it in my review, is that you could actually play this almost in campaign mode. Like there's no absolute end to the world that you're building. And I think that's really amazing and really unique. So I want to highlight that. I've not checked out the campaign page. I wanted to do it live. Let's watch this video together and see.
Grasping Nettles, a GM-less storytelling game where you build a world and learn what happens to it over the course of generations. To play the game, you'll be moving little pieces.
Let me know how that audio is.
The wheel. Each piece is mapped to a faction in the community that you're building. As the pieces land on the different spaces of the wheel, you'll be performing actions that those spaces correspond to, using that piece's faction as a lens. Actions include making a new character, creating new factions, adding locations, starting projects, and causing issues to happen in the world. As you take these actions, you'll be writing the information on note cards on your table as you build up a shared understanding of your community. After a few rounds of play, the faction pieces will end up on the Advanced Generation space, at which point you look at all the note cards on the table and consider what happens to them as time moves on. Oh, does this character remain important? Do they die or just grow old and return?
I love what he's doing here with aging himself in the
does this faction remain in control?
Video.
Has this issue been addressed, or does it worsen for the new generation? At the end of this phase, you check in with your fellow players and decide if you want to stop playing for the day. If you do, you can come back.
Wait, was that our game? Hold on. That's just a game we played with him the other night on a mirror board. That's awesome. This is Grasping Nettles, world building game. World changes from generation to generation. You create factions and ideas and other things, and then you have this generation evolve. It has elements that dialect does really well, but it does in a very different way. It has elements that the Quiet Year does very well, but it does in different ways. It uses some of the common already understood language of Microscope as far as table management, but it flips that up on an entirely different direction. If you are into world building games, I would check it out. If you're not into world building games, I think you're weird, and you should definitely get into them. I backed Adam's project last time. This one's a back for me for sure. We are going to go in on the physical level for this. I already have no stones. So we'll come back and we'll finish that out in just 1 second. So we're going to discover some more. No one's suggested any to us new that I've seen in the chat. I'm going to refresh this real quick. And I've got one I want to pull up for sure. Let's look at Complicated Profession. I think that's a cool project. This bestiary we're going to come back to. Also, too, we're going to talk a little bit more about this project soon. We've got a lot of these. I actually want to look at Torque as our final one today, even though it's already really well funded. Let's look at a Complicated Profession first, and then we're going to be done, unless I've got space for one more. So if somebody recommends one more, we'll look at one more. So this is a Complicated Profession. I'm gonna skip the video on this one. Essentially, it's good, but I don't want to necessarily take all that time. Drones have taken over the job of all the bounty hunters in the universe, and so now out of work bounty hunters are looking for jobs, and they are oftentimes finding them on these cruise ships. And so it's like, what does a bounty hunter do when the galaxy no longer needs them? We did see Gordnak. Yes, I already covered Gordnak, Scott. And so, hey, Matterbite. If anybody's watching and wants me to check out one more, I've got space for one more. We already did Gordnak, and we're going to back that one on a physical level. But a Complicated Profession is, you used to be a bounty hunter. You are now trying to work as a chef or as something else on a ship, making your way through this normal world with only the skills of the bounty hunter to get you through it. I think the art looks good on this. I do feel like a couple of the pieces are a little bit mixed together. Like this piece feels very organic, and this piece feels a little bit more 8-bit. I like them both, though. I really like both of these types of art coming together. And I like the kind of slice of life feel with another character template of a bounty hunter just kind of slammed on that. I actually think, though, I probably will come back and do it. This is actually going to be our dollar back for today. We're going to just black this dollar again. We're doing this thing called $28, 28 days, which is really just meant to say, hey, we back a campaign for $1 that helps the Kickstarter algorithm boost it up. More backers, more eyes means other people will see your project more. But then also, it gives them $1, and then we're going to go tweet about it after the fact also too. So I'm going to come back and back it as my $28, 28 days project on this one also too. Matterbyte, drop me a link when it goes live. We'll be doing this pretty much every day around 3 p.m. On the days where I'm traveling or can't do it. And when I say traveling, I mean driving, like somewhere at that time, because I have a life. Then we'll do it either earlier or we'll just do 2 the next day. We want to back as many projects as we can. We'll hit 8 to 12 every single time we do this. I said we were going to do it in under 20 minutes, but we're probably going to do it around 30 minutes every single day. And so, Jared, if you're only $60 in, there's nothing to be scared of. You're doing great if you've managed to do that. I think I've gotten close to that here, and with Torque, I'm about to blow that out of the water. So that was a Complicated Profession. So this is Torque. Torque caused me to rewrite my entire most anticipated list and caused me a lot of trouble because I've been excited about this game since Williams started talking about it on the Brain Trust like a few months ago. Originally, he was joking around about calling it like Torqueborg. It is not a Morkborg supplement, even though it's got the same kind of strong color palette. It is kind of part board game, part world building game. It's what he calls a soft apocalypse. Or actually, down here, it's an apocalypse. The world is weird, gone sour. Again, I want to just point out, like, learn as you look at other campaigns. If you're a designer, like, learn from them. But even if you're a consumer, learn to look for certain things. You know, Will is an absolutely phenomenal creator. They are just so sharp. I love getting to hear their reflections on other design. I love some of the other games I played by them. We're actually going to be streaming Will's game on the 13th in the middle of the day. We're going to be playing some Torque. But basically, it's like Mad Max-ish. And there's 2 parts to the game that I'm really excited about. Again, look at some of this art's gorgeous. The first part is on the road, right? So it's rules light, quick tactical game, like Dicey Dungeons, Into the Breach, very Mad Max feel. Then you get to rest stops where you do character-focused role-playing games. So it's a mix of a tactical tabletop game that's just Road Wars, right? Mixed with very intensive role-playing, world-building, chill, hangout vibes when you get to a rest stop and you're just going to chill with your friends. So Modem, one who brings social media to community. These are different roles. The Aggie, the botanist in this world who studies the flora and its properties. The speaker box, master of ceremony that brings noise and music. So basically, you show up at these rest stops and parties and social go out. Here's what I really want to highlight around Torque that's really important. Seamless online play is coming also too. Again, great looking project, clearly outlaid, great team, established creator, right? So again, his pledge without reward, for one thing, I'm going to kind of dissect this a little bit more. $10. If you leave this at $1, that's what people are going to do. If you move it up, people oftentimes won't change it. They'll assume that's what they're supposed to do, just as a whatever. He's got a $9 PDF level. I usually create one level that's smaller than this, that just gives you like a thank you card, but it is somewhere between the $10 and the whatever. He's got the Torqueborg Zine and PDF. So this is going to be the print one, right? And then he's got the complete edition. So this comes with a cloth playmat, physical zine, PDF, text of rules, print and play kit, and then online play space access. Here's what I want you guys to see: a $75 Zinequest project, right? Cloth playmat, signed physical zine, custom-made rest stop, laminated Torque license, PDF and text rules of play, print and play kit, online play space. All right, so this premium concept, if you're a creator, you should highly consider creating something like this for your game. I have a couple reasons why. The number one being, it's just fun. I mean, like, that's it. As a creator, doing something like this is incredibly fun. And for me as a backer, I'm incredibly driven to click this $75 level because of the fun of it. A custom-made rest stop for me. A signed copy of the zine, that's cool. Signed copies or not, I think it's great. Cloth playmats in some of the other levels, but the laminated Torque license is super attractive. It's a small little artifact that I'm going to have because I backed the game at a higher level, because that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to click this $75 level because I'm excited about it. There's also only 30 of them. I want to get one of those, so that's the level I'm going to back it at. I did this for Beards and Beyond last year. We'll have something similar like this for Repugnant, which is launching on the 15th. By the way, the link is right down below us. I think that more people should consider doing that. And so let's see, what do we got right now? Oh, Vast in the Dark. So let's. I did say we'd have a little bit more time. We don't really have the time I said we did, but let's go ahead and do that. So that's Torque. I'm going to open up a new tab right here. We are going to look at Vast in the Dark. They're doing some really cool stuff also. All right, so here's Vast. This may be one of the runaway games of Kickstarter. I don't think it will be, and I'll tell you why in just 1 second, but it still might be. It's a zine about exploring the dark and alien megastructures of an infinite realm. It's going from the 1st to the 15th. This company, this group of designers, Charleston, Ferguson, Avery, is going to be running 3 campaigns during Zinequest. They got permission to do it. They're all set up. They've got a plan for it. I think it's really smart the way they're doing it, even though I do wonder about backer dilution for this. So you're basically exploring these strange alien landscapes. Again, look at this. Starting with flavor. Like, this is what I want to see. Start with flavor, right here. Give me a little bit of the taste of what you're playing around in. Vast in the Dark gives me a little bit more flavor here, and then it gives me exactly what it is. Vast in the Dark is an exploration setting for the world's most popular role-playing game, right? Which, again, we all know what that's referring to, but I'm actually still excited about this. And one of the big things was it didn't start with we're a 5e thing, right? It takes place in a crumbling alien wasteland filled with brutalist megastructure and ruins. It includes tools for generating massive areas to explore, as well as unique player options and gameplay changes that keep the focus on player choice and ingenuity over dice rolling and chance, which to me easily communicates you can take this out and drop it into any system you want to, right? Yeah, I think anybody who looks at this, I don't know that it immediately screams what we want it to, but I think if you read through it, it does. And that comes from Josh, who's watching over on YouTube. So we've got this brutalist alien flavor, no prep world generation, huge player options of the vast navigation, inventory, and exhaustion system, optional horror elements. So they're ramping up the mechanics of the game. And again, I think you could drop this into OSC. I think you could drop this into Morkborg. I think you could drop this into Troika. And have a lot of fun with it. I mean, I could probably drop this into Beards and Beyond and have a blast with it. So look at this art, look at this piece. So this, not only does this character look cool, right? And at first it's hard to even tell whether this is medieval, sci-fi, what, But I love this detail of them just looking at this locket, right? I mean, that to me is an absolutely gorgeous little element. And then all these pockets, because I'm a pocket guy on my characters. I love pockets. But here's what they're doing that's really cool, right? So they've got a couple of these. They've got the Feral Indie Studio bundles. So they've got a couple backing levels of which I can't get, and now I'm a little upset because I slept on it earlier. Give Me It All, Damn It, right? These are the 3 zines they're launching this month, right? So at $20, you can get all 3 of those zines. At $30, which is super inexpensive, you can get all 3 of those zines and their Zinequest 2 titles. So the ones from last Zinequest for $30. I am kind of blown away by that. Those 2 options, the early bird, the Give Me It All, Damn It, and the No Give Me It All, are already gone. Now I'm going to assume here's why. If they didn't do that, they run the risk of Vast in the Dark funding very well, but the NPC Gallery and Season of the Moth funding poorly because they would exhaust all their backers in this one. So I actually think you kind of have to take what All Feral is doing here, and I think you kind of have to compare it over the scope of the month. This is a really interesting project way to do things. I've never seen anybody else do this. I would encourage more people to think about this model, and I would do it with 2 or 3 partners. I think one of the things we're going to see this Zinequest is a lot of people becoming fatigued with the amount of projects. I am so excited. I had a hard time going to sleep last night. I was like a kid on Christmas morning this morning, but I'm also kind of done with Zinequest, and it's day 1, and I'm going to be covering it all month long. And that's not that I'm not super excited about all the content. It's just that constant excitement about all the cool projects. And I love that that's the goal of Zinequest. Like, that's what we're going for. But I'm already a little exhausted by it all. And so I think this is such a cool idea. And what I'm probably going to do is just follow this project. And then when the next one backs, I want whatever the no Give Me It All level, I'm going to go click that right away and get all 3 of them at the same time. Now, here's the thing. On the last one, right, on Sloth of the Month, I'm sorry, on Season of the Moth, Sloth of the Month, see what I did there? They can open this last one up as high as they want. They can open it up as high as they want. They can open up either of these 2 because on that last one, they won't be running the risk of diluting their backer base. It's a tongue tie. I just think this is smart. Like, I love this idea. I think this is a great campaign. I think it absolutely does it. I think it doesn't even ding my, okay, am I going to be able to use this as a 5e compatible thing piece? And they're doing something cool. They find it in 5 minutes also too. It's not a bad way to think about it. So those are all of our games for today. That's what we're going to do. We've kind of been on here for about 35 minutes. This is probably what we can expect as I do this. If you have a game that you are launching, please let us know about it. If you haven't followed us on YouTube or on Twitch yet, please do. If you haven't liked us on Facebook, please do. We're at Plus One Exp across all social media platforms. Drop us a line. We're youtube.com/+1exp. We're twitch.tv/Tony Plus One, or you can go to ttrpg.link/ my brain doesn't work right. ttrpg.link/zinequesting to follow all the Zinequest specific content we're going to do. But every day at about 3 o'clock, we'll have something EST. We'll have something Zinequest related. On Thursdays, we're going to do an art feature. We may take about some of these projects again with Lloyd Metcalf over in the RPG Artist Hub. I am also launching a project on the 15th, so save $15 to $25 to $125 to back that project if you want to. That's Repugnant RPG. I'm doing it with John DeCampos, who has been a phenomenal collaborator. We just met this morning. Later on this week, I'll have a couple things to show you guys. Some new stuff that we just jammed out that John's working on as far as art goes. I'm super excited. Thanks, Jason, for saying that, and thank you everybody for all the kind of compliments about the coverage we're doing. Here's the thing: it is about 2 things for me, and I said this to Will online a little bit earlier today. It's about taking care of our community, like giving back to our community, constantly inviting new voices to our community, and making small creators feel as important as big creators, because you are. Like, you are birthing something beautiful into the world by creating this game. Again, I'm going to say it again. It's one of the reasons why we should be backing projects like Nerves that want to explore games through an art lens, because you are making art. However you're hacking, whatever you're doing, if it's an original system, if it's a hack, if it's a supplement, if it's 5e compatible, if it's indie, if it's OSR, I don't care. Like, what you're making matters, and I deeply appreciate the time and effort and energy that you're putting into it. I will never get to play all the games that I want to. I will never. So one game, one thing at a time. I'm getting a chance to share those with other people. For me, it's very important to showcase games that are not just by white male creators also too. I am a white male creator. I want to showcase my game. I want to showcase your games, but I want to invite more women creators. I want to invite more creators of color to come join us and to bring their unique perspective to the thing. There's a game we're going to talk about next week on the 9th that is Aztec Power Rangers, and it's created by a bunch of Latin American designers, and I am so excited to share their project with you. I think we're going to get a chance to do a little bit of a stream on it. And as somebody who loves religion and folklore, as somebody who loves the Power Rangers growing up, and as somebody who loves luchadors, which is not explicitly what it's about, but has a lot of the feel to it, like it is a weird sweet spot for me that I didn't know I wanted a game in, and that's coming out. So, Jared, you're going to love Nerve. You need to be writing for Nerves, Jared. And so, yeah, I'm loving seeing the creative interaction going on. Actually, Jesse, I think that's a good point for me. Like, maybe my closing thought, though I'll keep on chatting as long as people want to, and then I'll just like clip the rest of this out, or I won't, whatever. I would love to just see more collaborations. Like Zinequest 4 is happening. Like I have it from the mouth of Kickstarter himself. Zinequest 4 is coming. Like we don't have to question whether Zinequest 4 is happening. So let's start talking right now about how we all want to collaborate together for Zinequest 4. Let's do stuff like what Vast in the Dark is doing, but let's do it just organized with 2 or 3 friends getting together and saying, yeah, we're all going to run campaigns, but we all offer things in each other's campaigns, or we're just gonna put together a bundle and we're gonna kick it out together. It's going to be 3 zines. It's going to be this much. We want to work together. Pulling together 2 or 3 creators that you love the ethos of, that'll challenge and stretch you, but you know are good collaborators. And I know that takes time, but spend this next year finding those people. John and I started working together last year around some projects I was paying him to do. We had a good friendship online before that point, and this year we're putting a zine together that I'm so excited about. Like I'm so excited about Repugnant. And yeah, I just think about the different things that you could be doing. And how you could be partnering with other people, some of the amazing projects you could be creating together, and ways that people might stretch you out of your own comfort zone as a designer. Because I also would love to see us get down below 200 projects, but even have those projects be bigger for Zinequest. And not just so I can cover them all, but because I think we'll see more people rise up as designers as they enter into that deeper collaboration. So Jesse, I 100% agree. I love that idea. So anyways, with that said, I'm Tony Vasinda. I'm Chief Alchemist at Plus One Exp, where we multi-class in tabletop game design, beard and skincare alchemy, and the Bardic College of Content Creation. If you're an indie designer and you want to come on one of our stream times, showcase your game, or get us to do a review of your game, please reach out to me at Plus One Exp or at Tony Vasinda across social media platforms. And until next time, I'll be Zinequesting. Talk to you guys later. As I figure out how to put this digital thing back.